What is up, guys? What a day to be alive. UFC 283 just happened this past weekend between Glover Teixeria versus Jamal Hill. And me and Phoenix will be giving you guys our 3 burn moments we saw out of the whole entire night.
Yeah. Keep in mind, history was also made on Saturday. Brandon Moreno versus Davidson Figueiredo. They fought for the 4th time. First time in UFC history that any 2 fighters have fought each other for 4 times. So history was being made. But like Pre said, we will be giving you our 3 key burn moments that we saw out of any fight of the night. Keep in mind, a burn moment is a really hard time in someone's life, or in this case, a fight that someone ultimately had to get through to become victorious or get where they are today. So, Priest, let's get into it.
Keep in mind about the burn moment. My burn moment was whenever I was in the hospital and I had my dad go get my Circle T Scotty Cameron putter, and I would put 3 balls into a glass jar. But if you guys didn't know, I was tragically burned in a 6th grade science experiment by my teacher that left me with permanent scars on my face, 3rd-degree burns, and I had 7 surgeries and a 50% chance of surviving. So that's how I got the idea of coming up with the burn moment. But let's kick things off. Wait. Phoenix, you're on the chopping block right here, boss. Jamal Hill can't wrestle. Jamal Hill can't have good cardio. What happened? What happened?
I don't know, man.
That's what I thought.
That was a bad prediction by me.
That's what I thought.
I thought Glover was going to put it on him. I thought he was going to put the pace on him. I thought Jamal Hill was going to get tired. And then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, takedowns are going to become with ease. Jamal Hill wouldn't be able to get back up. But man, was I wrong. Jamal Hill is a dog. Jamal Hill's a dog. He got it done. He's the new light heavyweight champion of the world.
Looks familiar and sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. But all right, Priest, let's get into these burn moments. The first burn moment of UFC 283 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Give it to me.
My number 1 burn moment of UFC 283 is going to Brandon Moreno. Going to round 2 at 2 minutes and 3 seconds, Davidson gets Brandon Moreno into a very, very tight guillotine. I thought he was going to tap. Did you think he was going to tap?
It was deep. It was very deep.
That thing was so deep, but the burn moment happened at 1:59. The burn moment. 1:59. Brandon Moreno takes his left hand and inches forward and then gets right underneath the right hand of Davidson Figueiredo and gets just enough air to keep surviving and eventually squeezes out. And that's all she wrote. And Moreno finished the round on top of Figueiredo, and in the 3rd round proceeds to land a huge left hand, which caused the eye to swell up, and that was the end of the fight.
Yeah. I personally thought that Brandon Moreno was done. I
thought he was done.
It was so tight. He was fully locked in, squeezing with everything he had. He even had his legs crossed. I thought he was done, and I was like, oh my God, this is not happening. Mm-hmm. Because Brandon Moreno was piecing him up that fight. That 1-2 was all there.
And the body shots.
The body shots, the body kicks, the wrestling exchanges. He was winning. He was winning every part of that fight. But he just had that burn moment that ultimately got him the win.
Mm-hmm. And I almost feel like Davidson Figueiredo wasn't really ready for the fight. I mean, we talked about it, the bad weight cut. I guess he had a really bad weight cut according to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that just got into his head, and he looked off. He looked one step behind Moreno the whole fight. And I feel like that guillotine that he threw up was kind of the last chance, and it didn't happen, and I think that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Flyweight's got a new champion, Brandon Moreno. Hats off to him. Good burn moment pick.
Thank you.
I like that one. That was
All
a
right,
good one.
it's time for Phoenix to go to his burn moment, number 2 of the burn moment recap. Lay it on us.
I'm going to rock with my boy Johnny Walker for the second time. This is my second time picking Johnny Walker in my burn moment recap because I believe that his burn moment did not take place on Saturday night. It did not take place on Saturday night in Rio. It took place in February of 2022 in Las Vegas, Nevada at the UFC Apex when he got knocked out by Jamal Hill. That was his burn moment because forever from now on, since that day, he will be in every UFC highlight reel, every Jamal highlight reel, and he has to live with that knockout for the rest of his life. He does. And at that point, he lost 4 of his last 5 fights. Talk about being on the chopping block. The UFC had him on the chopping block against Ion Cutelaba. If he lost that fight, he was getting cut. But you know what? That burn moment in February of 2022 helped him get that win against Ion Cutelaba because he said, if I don't change something, I'm going to get cut. So he beats Ion Cutelaba. 4 months later, goes into Rio, beats the number 9 ranked light heavyweight who beat Jamal Hill, who beat Magdamav Ankalaev, and just puts on a clinic. His striking looked good. His kicks looked good. He was loose. He was confident. And I believe if he didn't have that burn moment of getting knocked out by Jamal Hill in February of 2022, he would have not won against Ion Cutelaba in September, and he definitely would have not won Saturday night in Rio against Paul Craig. I don't think he would have.
You don't think so?
No. I think that's the burn moment that he had because he had way too much talent to throw to waste, and now he believes that he has the talent to compete for a light heavyweight championship. And I think he will. I would not be surprised if he rattles off 5 in a row and is fighting for the title early next year. I wouldn't. His confidence is throughout the roof. His striking's got a lot better. His wrestling's got a lot better. His kicks are a lot better. And he's practically competed with everyone in the light heavyweight division already. So he knows what he's expecting. A second fight with Jamal Hill. A second fight with Brian Spahn.
I would love to see. I would love to see the Ryan Spahn fight.
Yeah,
happen
I think
again.
that might be the fight to make.
I think so too.
I mean, Ryan Spahn just beat what's his name, Dominic Reyes, and now a good fight against
Back
Jamal.
in November.
Yeah.
I would love to see that fight. It'd be very good. I like that burn moment.
Yeah,
Phoenix. Hey, Phoenix just made history in the burn factory.
Yeah,
Picking
first ever double burn moment
for one person.
for one person. But shout out to Jamal Hill. He had a big burn moment in February last year, which helped him prevail to get the win on Saturday night. So that is my burn moment, number 2 of UFC 283. But Priest, finish us off with the last and final burn moment of UFC 283 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
I kind of like that. The Brazil.
Brazil. I need to learn a little Portuguese.
You're kind of good at that. But anyways, I'm going to take this one outside of the box. Not necessarily the burn moment was going to be in the fight, but I believe the burn moment was whenever Jamal Hill saw his coaches about like 10 seconds after the fight even ended and just instantly started crying. That hit hard, and it sums up everything. I had to fight to live. Think about that. I had to fight to live. Keep in mind, the decision hasn't even happened yet. 10 seconds after the fight's over, he instantly just starts breaking down.
You can relate to that a little bit.
Oh,
or not a little bit, a lot of it.
100.
I've had to fight to live. You had to
100%.
fight. You had to fight to live. You had to fight to get out of that hospital bed and put those balls into the hole. You had to fight to go outside in the sun with masks on before COVID, masks on, holding an umbrella over you
3 towels
because the sun couldn't hit your face. You had to fight every day to do what you love, and that's what Jamal Hill had to do. He had to fight to even have a chance at being anything in life. What a burn moment. I mean, his whole life is a burn moment.
Jamal, please come on the podcast so we can find what your deeper burn moment was in your life that got you to becoming the champion and what got you so emotional in that fight. But who was the last ever champion to win the belt and cry. Who was the last Phoenix?
I would say Leon Edwards and maybe Brandon Moreno, but just there's a difference. Like Leon Edwards had a little bit of tears, but Jamal Hill
broke down to his knees
fell
and
to the
cried.
ground.
Yeah.
And just showed that raw emotion, just those years and years of being told no. And his 3 coaches were the only
sweat, and tears.
Were the only 3 people that believed in him. And you saw that because after the fight, he literally bowed down and gave the belt to them. Yeah. Wow. If that's not inspirational to you, then I don't know what is, because that was unbelievable. And that quote will stick with me for the rest of my life. I've had to fight to live.
For sure.
Wow. What a burn moment. His whole life is a burn moment.
His whole life has changed now.
Yeah.
With winning that belt. But anyways, me and Phoenix just finished our recap show of our 3 burn moments that we saw out of the fights. Or I went outside of the box. I kind of bent the lines a little bit and saw something after the fight. But I think we picked some good burn moments. I think.
Let's do a little recap. Our burn moment 1 was Brandon Moreno in that deep guillotine that he just inched his way in just to get enough air to survive. My burn moment was Johnny Walker getting knocked out by Jamal Hill, because if he didn't get knocked out, I don't think he would have won his last 2 fights.
No.
I know he would have not won those last 2 fights. And the last and final is Jamal Hill showing that raw emotion after the fight, that was his burn moment, because he put so much into this 12 years of fighting, blood, sweat, and tears.
And the first ever Dana White Contender Series champion, and just the grind to even get on the Contender Series. And very inspirational story, Jamal. Come on the podcast.
Yes. Come on the podcast. I would love to hear all the burn moments, man. He's probably got so many burn moments that just no one knows about, that he had to fight with on a daily basis. Yeah. But that's going to do it for the UFC 283 burn moment recap. Let us know in the comments if you guys saw any burn moments that we didn't say. And please like, subscribe, and follow us at the Burn Factory Podcast. And check out our last episode that we just dropped with James Harris. Such an inspirational man. He even got shot. Wink, wink. So go check that out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube at the Burn Factory Podcast. You don't want to miss that episode, because it was a very, very good episode.
And always, please visit my foundation at priestjamesfoundation.org. Again, priestjamesfoundation.org, to understand why this is called the Burn Factory. And come on, help your boy out to go build some more putting greens at these hospitals. But we'll see you guys soon. Peace.